I'm going to show you in about 10 minutes how to install Windows 2016 Server onto a virtual machine in Hyper-V, which is on a Windows 10 machine. I'm your host, Thomas Bartram, and let's get right on to the good stuff, shall we? Okay, so basically what we're going to do is take a virtual machine from another session that was previously configured. We'll look at the settings real quick. Basically, memory, standard, I lock it down, as I said in the previous. We're going to limit it to 2 virtual processors. The hard drive, just a small virtual hard drive. It's already in its location here. The DVD drive, we're going to use the Datacenter evaluation version. We've got an external virtual switch for the network adapter, and the rest is just standard. So let's click OK. What we're going to do here, go ahead and start this thing up. What we're going to do is we're going to connect to it first, and there we go. It tells us it's off. If we hit the start button here or up here, what it's going to do is begin the process. We need to hit the space bar normally. There we go. And it's going to load the files. It's pulling the data from that ISO image that came from Microsoft, and we're just going to fly through this. It's really quick, really simple. It's going to do 99% of the work for us. We've got a few questions to answer in this case, and once that's finished, it's just a matter of letting it boot up. So at this point, if you want the desktop experience, you better pick it here, because there's no way to change later. So we want the Datacenter evaluation version. Desktop experience, click it, next. We agree to the licensing agreement. We'll scroll right on through it. Quick readers. Click next, and we're going to do a custom install because, well, it's got nothing on it and it's unallocated space. So you've got 2 choices here. You can hit new or next. If you hit next, it's going to do the partition for you. It's a virtual partition on this drive. So we're just going to hit next, and it's going to do it for us. Actually, it usually puts 2 partitions in there, a recovery partition as well as the OS partition. You'll notice the hard drive size was only 40 gig. It doesn't take a whole lot of room for a virtual machine. It will expand because it's a VHDX file. It's automatically expanding when it needs to. It will, if it needs to. Virtual machines, whether you knew it or not, are very resource intensive, but not necessarily processor intensive. A virtual machine will not starve out your host either. So no matter how much you dedicate to that virtual machine, it's not going to starve your host for the actual resources. Your host will always be able to go. So we're going to hit restart now, and you'll notice it comes up pretty quick here. Restarts. Basically, when you run these things, if you've got the option to put these things on SSD drives, let me tell you, you will notice the difference night and day between how quickly they load. I run them on my SSD when I load them up here, and they boot really, really good. SSDs, as far as hardware is concerned, is really the way of the future. It goes through the normal process, or what it believes is the normal process, of gathering information about the hardware and whatnot. It really doesn't take a whole lot of time. So we're faced with a password. We'll put our password in here, and click finish. The next thing we see should be a logon. So you have to hit the button up here that says Control-Alt-Delete. So now we'll put our password in, and hit that and let it load the profile services up. When it's done here, we will do a quick cycle through, let it come all the way up, and we'll tell it yes, we want to do that. Basically that was for the network, and I want it to be discoverable on the network at this point in time because I like it that way here in my laboratory. Local server, nothing here to speak of. It basically gives us information. We're going to go ahead and we're going to change this because I'm in Eastern Daylight Time. And okay, so from there, what we're going to do, the time is right now. So you'll notice the information down here about the machine, the OS, the machine, tells us a little bit about it. Tells us we've got an installed memory of 2 gig going, total disk space of another 39.45 gig left over. So let's carry on here. So the trick that I'm going to show you, let's go ahead and lock this machine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to export this thing. It's very simple. You just right click on it, tell it export, tell it browse, and you go to where you want to put it. We're going to put it right here, because what it's going to do is it's going to go through and tell us that it's exporting. It's basically exporting the entire VHDX, the virtual machine configuration files, and anything else that it needs that is directly connected to it. So merge and done. Okay, so we'll shut it down this way, and doesn't take very long to shut down, as you see. There we go, we're done with that. We're going to go over here into the Hyper-V, and oh man, this machine just blew up. So we're going to get rid of it. Now, what do? Well, now we're going to bring back the machine from the dead. So all we have to do is come over here to import virtual machine. We're going to click next. We're going to go find our select next. There it is. It knows what it is. Click next. We have 3 options. Register the virtual machine in place using existing unique ID. If the machine has blown up, there's no bringing it back. Use this. Okay? If you are restoring the virtual machine back into a previous directory, use the restore, but use the existing unique ID again. If you are going to, we'll say, bring this machine in and you're going to use it for, we'll say, a template machine, you can actually copy the virtual machine, everything about it. It brings it in and puts it in a file folder wherever you told it to put it, and it gives it a brand new unique ID which registers it differently within Hyper-V. So let's register it in place using the existing unique ID, and basically it loads the configuration files, gives you this information about it. There's its actual file information, and tells you to register and keep the ID that it has, and we click finish. From there, voila. And if you notice down here, you see the photo, it's in a saved state. That's because when we did the export, it was running. What we have to do is we basically tell it to start it, and voila, it brings it back up out of that saved state, and it's automatically running at that point. To verify that it is up and running, we'll click, we'll go, we'll do, and notice it was still in the locked position or locked state, so it went right straight through, good to go. And let's call that finished with that. Now, if you've enjoyed this and you've gotten some good information from this video, please consider liking the video, comment down in the comment section below, and if you want to see more content like this or would like to see something specific, let me know. And do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you next time when we dig deeper into Hyper-V and servers. Till then, see you later.